All right. Looks like we are live, and we already have Robbie here. Hi there, Rob. Hello, hello, hello. So I'm gonna wait a few minutes and then begin this live stream. Three people watching already. That's awesome. Two people. Okay, we are fluctuating, but that's fine. It's I'm gonna wait a few minutes and then we going to go ahead with today's topic, which will be the first available live stream for following a successful test like 2 days ago. So yeah, dressed up all to early Star Day, early Star Trek Day. Hello, Sohail. Hello, hello. So this is incredible. Like I'm already having people in here, which is awesome. So thank you very much, everyone. To oh, thank you very much, Robbie. Hang on, Robbie. Just a quick question: Are you a great Trekkie? If I understood that correctly from Earl Grey Trekkie, right? Yeah, you're Earl Grey Trekkie. Hey, Robbie's here as well. Thank you very much for joining in, everyone. So I'm going to wait a few minutes. As I mentioned today, I mentioned in my Twitter account. Ever since yesterday, I started promoting this live stream. I'm going to talk about an early Star Trek day, dress for the occasion, and of course, we're going to do a few other things, talk about lower decks as well, and of course, we're going to talk about um, some other things. As I mentioned, I'm going to hold a special AMA as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to send it in the comment box below. And after I'm going to after going through all the main topics, I'm going to answer some questions as well. I plan to do this up to till 8, so it's about an hour, just like my podcast episode. So about an hour, and we'll go from there. So before I go into any topics, and again, thank you very much for everyone joining in. I have some bills to pay, and it's not necessarily bills to pay, but this is something that I received recently, and I did want to make a video, a quick video about it because it's just a random act of kindness, something that I received in the post, and I did made a tweet about it on Twitter. If you're not following me there, then you didn't see it, but I'm going to show this to you. So I came across with this fantastic with this fantastic artist, Darry Doodles, who you probably come across with it as well at some point. He did some fantastic drawings and art in the style of Star Trek, so Star Trek ships. Mainly, and of course, he has done some Orville as well. And when the Orville came out, I complimented the work because it's just amazing. It's a ready-run picture of the Orville that I really enjoyed seeing, and I really wanted to support him. So I really had a good impression of him as an artist, and his art style just captured me so much. And a random act of kindness, he reached out to me a couple of weeks ago, saying that he would like to send me something. And of course, I was humbled because like no one really wanted to send me anything. Not that I'm asking for it, but it was just nice to have that little gesture coming from someone who I didn't really have too much interaction on on real life, but he's a genuinely nice person, and he sent me over this artwork, which I'm going to show. And okay, so I'm going to remove it from the plastic wrap because it's just too much reflection going on. So he basically sent me over this artwork of the Orville. So the artist is called Darry Doodles. He's available on Twitter, and he has a web shop as well that you can buy this. It's in a fantastic quality paper, which I still have to buy a really good cover for it and a frame, and then put it up in the wall because it's really a nice piece. And he recently done. Oh, he actually has the Voyager, the Enterprise D looks fantastic, and with the picture, it came with a thank you card, which absolutely just amazing. The level of details and the level of creativity in this artwork. Um, this is something fantastic that I could not thank him enough to send me these artworks. So both the little card from the Enterprise and the Orville, like I love the show, and you probably know that by now. I love the Orville so much, and this is just a fantastic piece of artwork that will look really good on a wall in a frame. So I I'm really privileged to I was able to get this. Again, the name of the artist is Derry Doodles. He's available on Twitter, so please give him a follow and check out his shop. He has some really cool artworks, not just the Orville, but lots of Star Trek and other original artworks as well. So I would encourage you to check him out because he's really good. He's really good as an artist. Hey, Damien is here. Oh my days! Like that's awesome. Thank you very much for joining and uh, checking out my shenanigans here. Yeah, so give him a give him a big hug. Derry Doodles, fantastic artworks, and they're not ridiculously pricey either. So I would totally go and just give a good look on his site. So yeah, so now that I paid some bills, even though he didn't ask me for it, but I really wanted to give him a shout out because just amazing artwork. And so yeah, Star Trek is turning 54 in a couple of days, which is an interesting thing. I mean, I remember 4 years ago when Star Trek turned 50. Not just myself, but a lot of other creators tributed to Star Trek, and it really changed our lives so much in this last 50 plus years. I mean, for someone's 54 years or 50 years plus, for me about 20. I'm a bit younger, but I haven't around Star Trek as much as other people who followed the show from the very beginning, from TOS and stuff. So it is really a nice occasion to really remember. And I know I'm doing this a bit early because, as I mentioned in the test stream, I'm going to be away from next week. But actually, yeah, from next week. So there's not going to be any podcast either coming out on Wednesday. There should be, so nothing scheduled for next week in terms of podcast. And 54 indeed, yes, 54 years, and it's just an amazing TV show that even though 54 years, the gap, this milestone that the original series reached. It's often associated with TNG and comes the big picture. The big picture comes in when the oldest TV shows are there because Star Trek itself. We're not just referring to the show itself, the original Star Trek. We refer to basically the whole franchise itself, and a franchise being alive for this long, being around for this long, and currently in production. That's just something that I think only Doctor Who did. Because Doctor Who I think, came out 3 years earlier than Star Trek. I think they started at 63, and the show is still currently in production. I mean, pandemic aside, is still currently in production, which is an amazing thing to have. And I don't know any other franchises that had such a long run than aside from Doctor Who, Star Trek. Um, so it's just a really, really nice occasion again to just get together and just remember the good things that we got from the show. I mean, aside from technicalities and all the communication and advantages and technical advantages that we got over the years. By the way, if I'm talking too fast, please do let me know because I tend to do talk fast. Um, so yeah, the characters, the bond between them, and the stories that we got from all of these episodes and from all of these shows, and not just the original series, but mainly the original series, because that's what it started all. And I really would like to pay a tribute to them because even though now looking back in with a 2020 eyes, looking back to that series that started all, it might look a bit goofy, it might look a bit dinky, and like the Kirk Fu and all the chops and everything, but the whole thing is that it gave us that idealistic future, that hope that we needed that time, especially it came out in the around the Cold War. And even now, those stories captivate so many people still today, and empowers generations to create more and to be better who we were yesterday. And this is just a fantastic thing that I think the original series definitely deserves a tribute to, and so many good words as well. So I didn't really have too much experience, unfortunately, meeting people from the original series. I do want to mention though that even though conventions were taking place, and I think that my very first big Star Trek convention was in 2016, in the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, I was able to. I was able to meet Nichelle Nichols, who was, I think I posted a picture today about con experiences, and who broke your Star Trek photo op virginity, which she was the first one. So she it was an interesting experience. I remember telling her that literally I was waiting 17 years for this moment to actually sit down next to her, or just to see her in life, because for me, not being around in too many conventions, and not being part of too many big Star Trek communities before. I mean, ever before Twitter and starting this whole YouTube business. um, it is interesting to finally meet these people who you meet in real life, and she was just so humble and delicate as a person. I remember sitting there, and I was almost bursting out to tears because I was so excited and overwhelmed by the fact that that's Uhura from Star Trek, that's Nichelle Nichols sitting there and waiting for everyone to go around. And I was I was just overwhelmed, really, and I was shaking when I went up to her, sat down next to her, bless her, and just told her that, like, it's so nice to meet you, and I've been waiting for this moment for so long. And she only said, "Oh, bless you," and then that was it. I mean, you know how these photo shoot works in conventions. You basically just go next to the person and click, and then next. You don't really have time to do things. Depends on the person, because I remember Wong Armstrong was um, Admiral Forrest. He was a bit more chilled. I mean, I think it was second day when I was rushing to his photo booth because the queue was long and everything. So I was rushing to his photo booth, and I was the last one, literally. He was just about to leave, like, wrapping up and everything, and I got there and I was like, "Oh, can I ask you a few questions?" Or it's like, "Oh, sure, of course." And we had a couple of minutes chat, which was also nice. And it was like rushing, and I think in my picture, that picture was actually horrible. But yeah, um, Nichelle Nichols was definitely a person I really was looking forward to meet, and I think I really had a better experience with her, even when I was queuing up for getting an autograph from her. She was like super, down to earth and chilled, and just an amazing human being who I was able to meet, and it was just fantastic. Um, I had the chance to say "oh my" to George Takei as well, which was again an amazing experience. I think I queued up as well for an autograph. I think probably I got most of the original crew. I mean, of course, James Doohan and D. Force Kelly. Um, it's a big thing that would have been a big thing if I end up seeing them. But again, they passed away so early um, for my life. I mean, both of them passed away. I think Jimmy Doohan passed away in 2008, and that's just before the new Star Trek came out. And I remember seeing the news, and I was like, I was a bit gutted because like Scotty, like how can Scotty just go like that? And it was sad. And of course, Leonard Nimoy, bless him as well. A couple of years ago when he passed away, that was a bit of a bummer. Like that's something that the whole community felt, and I was the same as well. Like it's really it's really sad when you see these people passing, because even though they don't know you, you know them, and they are part of your second family. I mean, Star Trek for me, it was, and still in some level, it's my second family, because those people I grew up with, watching them for the past 20 something years, and it was really amazing to to have all of these connections through the TV, and then meeting the people. I really wish that I was able to meet all of these people from back then. Of course, I happened to see and meet briefly with Walter Koenig. He was fantastic as well, and he's an amazing person. And not so much surprised, but I was a bit bummed that I wasn't able to get a better impression of Mr. Shatner. Bless him as well, but of course he's the Shat, so he is the Shat. Like you can't get any better than the Shat himself, and he has charisma to just like be himself and not doing anything and still still just he is probably one of the most wanted person in every Star Trek convention. If Shatner is there, like everyone will see him. I remember still the queues for photo shoots, and his photo shoots were like this quick. Like you didn't even have time to blink because they just said next, click, go, and that was it. 3 seconds, nothing else. That no time to say anything like, "Hey, Mr. Shatner, I like your work" or something. Yeah, so these people are all fantastic, and the stories that they told with their character in the show that encouraged so many people in the generations that came after them, and even now. I mean, I know, and I don't want to go into too much on that, but I know a lot of people have issues with Discovery. I was one of them. And I'm still kind of on the edge. Like Discovery has its own place, but the much that we sometimes have issues with the show, they are bringing their legacy forward, and they are bringing their legacy closer to us as well. Not going into too much details, but they bringing the torch with them through hopefully generations to come as well. And then we're gonna have multiple TV shows after this, which I'm really excited about in at one point. But of course, I really care for the original series and Next Generation, the S9 Voyager Enterprise as well, just to because they are my warm blanket, as I often refer to them. And I know probably some people are going to be tired of this. I'm always going to keep saying that they are my warm blanket, but they are. Um, so it is fantastic to have this, to being part of this group first of all, in a sense of being part of the franchise group, fan group, um, and meeting all of these people. And the original series, them funky as it is sometimes, it's still it's still I think one of the best Star Trek show, because that started it all. And for that single reason, I salute everyone who worked on the show, whether they are passed away or they still with us. They were amazing, and they deserve a big cheer, and just a big gratitude, because they are amazing. They are amazing, absolutely amazing, as as a creative group who brought us a positive view for the future, to show us that hey, the future, the tomorrow can be different. And that's something that Star Trek did really well in the 60s. So I really glad that I was able to connect with so many people as well. With you fine gentlemen in a live chat section, which I'm going to have a link, and I'm going to react on some of those things as well in a short a few minutes. But 54 years is a long time, and I hope in 54 years I'm going to be still alive, and I'm not 54, actually 46, and I'll be able to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Star Trek with most of the people I know today, and count as a friends, and good people who I that's not a problem. Just quickly, not a problem. Damien, thank you very much for tuning in. Awesome, thank you very much, and talk to you soon. Um, so yeah, so absolutely amazing to have this show reaching to 54, and again, I'm looking forward to celebrate 100 with all of you. Hopefully, in 50, 40 something years, I hope I still gonna make it. I know it's a bit short, a long notice. Have to be alive till then. But yeah, so happy 54th anniversary Star Trek. I was really looking forward to watch all of the live streams and all the live shenanigans that gonna happening on that day. But as I mentioned earlier, and in my test stream, we're gonna be away from next week. So we're gonna be away for a road trip, a well needed and deserved road trip, um, which will take place from we're going to leave from Edinburgh up to Isle of Skye, beautiful Isle of Skye. First time driving a big motorhome myself, so no pressure there. So yeah, so we're gonna be there from what's um, from Tuesday, and we're gonna come back on Saturday. And obviously not gonna be any live stream next week because I try to do this every 2 weeks. So it's gonna be a bi-weekly live stream and podcast if it's not gonna return the following week, but probably the week after. So we'll have to work on that too because other things can come across. But let's see. So after talking about a bit Star Trek and like again, one thing again, it's a bit of a shout out, bit of an experience as well that I do want to touch on as well. It comes to 54th anniversary of Star Trek and the way how I dressed. I should have dressed when I actually went to this place with my good friend Sean. Track on the tube. We managed to a couple of years ago. We managed to do the Ticonderoga Star Trek exhibition. Now, if you remember, I think I made a video about this a couple of years ago when we came back. Put a lot of pictures together, talk through the experience. Now, 54 years after, that place still holds a special place in my heart because, and I think in Sean's heart as well, because that place is just marvelous. Like seeing the bridge of the Enterprise and seeing the corridor, seeing Dr. McCoy's office, the engineering section, everything that you see on the screen, and actually walk through all of this. Let me tell you something. You have to do it, and it's a once of a lifetime. If you can do it a once of a lifetime, make it a once of a lifetime experience. Once this whole pandemic will go away, I would encourage everyone to save up. I'm not saying that skip Las Vegas because if you regular Las Vegas convention goers, you're probably gonna prefer that one instead of going to this tour that takes about half an hour. You can snap pictures and you just like look around and have the feel of this place, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, I still have if I close my eyes, I can still visualize the whole thing. It was just so memorable and remarkable to actually go through that scene. And what a wonderful place! James Cabley and his team did a fantastic job to capture the original Enterprise and the original set itself. So it was just fantastic to see that. And gosh, I cannot wait to go back. I cannot wait to go back one day once this whole you know COVID pandemic shenanigans are gonna be out of the air. But yeah, that's if it wouldn't be this would be the perfect occasion again to celebrate and go down there and just have a look and walk around and wander around about the bridge of and aboard the Enterprise. She is one beautiful lady for sure. All right, I'm going to have a look in the chat because there's quite a lot of shenanigans going on there. So we still have quite a few people in the stream. I mean, of course, I ain't um, any big name. So all five of you who's watching at the moment, thank you very much for sticking with me and listening to my mumbo jumbo. Um, so yeah, let me have a look. Oh, we have Chris Collins here as well. Hi there, good sir. Oh my God! You remember when Star Trek was turning 25? That's crazy. Like I think I remember the 30th anniversary, and that was a really, really interesting one. I still remember. I think I still have the program that they put together with everyone doing some the Frasier Star Trek Voyager little spin-off, and what's his name? Oh, I keep forgetting his name. The guy from The Good Life with the white hair. He was one of the character. Matt Fraver, I think. Not Matt Fraver. I forgot his name. Sorry about that. So I remember him being there and a lot of other people like doing tributes and everyone got called up into the stage at the end and they were just so fantastic to just to see that. And I think That's the most rewatched anniversary special I ever did. They should have done more. They should have done more anniversary specials. Maybe not in a yearly basis, but in every 5 years or 10 years, maybe. That would have been actually a really good thing to do. And I actually don't didn't feel that they did a good job as long as far as the convention goes in 2016 for the 50th anniversary. But the different times, different organizers, I think they would have done a bit of a better job to make a bit of bigger fuss about of the whole 50th anniversary of Star Trek. I think they have more shenanigans going on right now for the 54th than they had for previous years. So, well, hopefully this will change in the future as well. Let's see. Starfleet boy Gates McFadden is amazing too. I met her and Nana at the same time. Oh gosh, I never had a chance to meet Nana Visitor and not much people from DS9. I think I happened to meet James Darren, Vic Fontaine, Army Shimmerman, and God bless him, Aaron Eisenberg. They were all fantastic to meet. And Max Gronenchik, I happened to meet him, I think, 2 times. And the second time, he was in Kings Langley for the Trekon convention. Now he's fantastic. He's just a wonderful human being. I happened to talk to him about half an hour or so. So it was a really interesting experience. He's a really cool guy. Um, all right, let me see. Yeah, I mean, I know Damien has left, but he said that I'm looking forward to meet Trekkerprise at some stage. Yeah, I'm looking forward to meet you as well, good sir, at one point. It's long overdue. Hi, Braxton. I'm not sure if you're still here, but hello there. Thank you very much for joining. All right, let me have a look. Mm, yeah, D4 Scully would have been fun to meet. I agree with you, Chris. D4 Scully would have been fun to meet. Disco casts are my warm blanket. And again, nothing wrong with that. I started to warm up to Discovery as well myself. It takes a few seasons and a few years to get warmed up to it, but yeah, yeah, it is getting there. All right. Well, Robbie, you are a cheerleader for this live stream for sure. Thank you very much for for all your effort, and I'll definitely have to have you on the show as well soon. So we're gonna talk about that in yeah, shortly. All right. All right, Chris Collins. Shatner does not like talking to fans or talking to Star Trek. It's all news to him. He likes talking new projects. Well, yeah, I kind of got that feeling as well. Even though he's, all super chopped up and everything, sometimes like, oh, I'm Captain Kirk, but like you were Captain Kirk, but you were T.J. Hooker as well, or Hooker. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame though. I mean, I do think that some people like recently we watched Police Academy, and many of you who've seen the films, that there's like 7 movies out there, and Police Academy, I think all of the even the show, the movie, even though I did not know until we watched it recently that the first movie was actually R-rated. So yeah, bit of a shambles from my side, but I remember watching an interview with Steve Guttenberg, who was Mahoney in the series, in the film movie series, and he said that in an interview where that saying that like, hey, I was Mahoney and I'm getting associated with Mahoney, my character from Police Academy, but I don't mind. I actually love this thing because the show, the gig was good. And if anyone comes up to me and talks about, how good I was or how did I do this and that, even I answered them a lot of times, I'm going to be answering these questions with a lot of enthusiasm because that person only going to hear it for the first time. And I love that. I love that show. I love those movies. So he was always really keen on, keeping the fans their interest alive and appreciating them as well. So I really liked his attitude towards his character Shatner, and I think even Stewart and Spiner are the same as well somehow, because I know Brent Spiner specifically, he's never really been too keen um, to get all these questions about Star Trek. So, but yeah, at the end of the day, all of these actors are people, and they are artists. They try to do their job, and I understand that. Um, I watched an interview with James Doohan, who said that he had difficulties after Star Trek. He had difficulties to actually get any job because of his role. Hey, Father is here. Hi there. Hi there. Thank you for joining. So he actually mentioned that he had so much trouble finding a job because every time when he walked into someone, it's like, "Oh, Mr. Scott." And then he walked into the second office, "Oh, Mr. Scott," and then he knew that in that instant that he never gonna get the job. And most of the time that was the case. Even in Knight Rider 2000, he had a cameo, and I remember he was basically saying Captain Scotty's line from Star Trek. He was reciting Star Trek, so he was basically molded together with the character and most of these people. And even though they did other things, but majority of the people don't remember those, and they only remember what they did in Star Trek. And in that regard, I do appreciate the fact that some of them doesn't really like talking about Star Trek anymore, which is a bit of a shambles. But again, they are human beings at the end of the day. Just as we don't like talking about certain topics of Star Trek, it's normal. I think it's normal, and I respect that, and I respect that for them. All right, let me get back because I'm just talking too much. But actually, that's the live stream about, right? All right. Yeah, 25th anniversary seemed a big deal because it was when Gene Roddenberry was still alive, and it was all about uniting the old generation to next generation. Now, that is something that I I believe would be a really nice thing um, to do from the current showrunners, the current runners of Star Trek, because there's a there was, I mean, the division between, at least that's what I see. And again, I'm trying to observe it from an outsider point of view. Ever since Discovery and the JJ movies came in, and Picard got his own show, and Lower Decks, which I'm going to talk about in a short moment. Um, and then okay, section 31 coming out as soon sometimes next year as well. So, and like Strange New Worlds. So all of these shows coming out from now as a second generation of new Star Trek. And we have an old generation of Star Trek from TOS till Enterprise. So there's a bit of a generational gap and audience gap as well, which is totally normal. And again, if you don't like it, don't watch it, don't brag about it. If you like it, that's fun. um, it is, I think, in terms of marketing point of view, I think the studio should have done a better job um, bringing these two groups a bit together, so bringing them a bit closer to each other, and avoiding all of this friction that we witnessed quite a lot of times ever since Discovery was on the air, with new fans and old fans, which again, I think I made a video of this. There shouldn't be a designation like old fans, new fans. You're a Star Trek fan. End of the discussion. But again, everyone has a different opinion, and I respect that. I'm not here to judge anyone for whatever they like. So just to make that clear. All right. Let's see. I have never met him, but Andrew Robinson, who played Garak, is such an intriguing person to me. Now, you know what, Andrew Robinson, he's a fantastic person as well. I met him in London Comic Con a couple of years back, and I actually before I was going into his I was waiting in line for getting an autograph for a friend of mine. Actually, I think I got it for myself, but I got it for a friend of mine as well, who who was in the U.S. in Oregon, and so Dean Cain was sitting next to him, aka Superman. So it was fun that I was waiting for him, and I think he tripped just front of me in the tablecloth um, from Andrew Robinson's desk, and they both looked at me like, "Do you want to kill me? Really? They want to kill Superman just right now, right here?" Like, no, yeah, it was a bit awkward, but it set up a really fun tone for our interaction with Andrew Robinson. He's a very very amazing guy. I hope I'm gonna be able to meet him a bit more in the future as well, once the pandemic allows. 25th anniversary because they were many announcing Deep Space Nine and Star Trek 6 came out, and the next year Relics with Scotty happened, and in Klingon Dominion theme park there was a traveling exhibit. Yeah, a lot of things happened a long time ago, and I wish a lot of things would happen these days as well. Somehow, I don't think. I think I still think, and I think a lot of people agrees with me on this. Um, the experience, the Star Trek experience, should be a basic for being a place that you can visit, just like in Las Vegas, the old exhibition, bringing all these things together. And now you can do it with disco style and Picard, and have a museum for the roots of all this, which would be fantastic. Again, we'll see how that will play out as well. All right. Brent Spiner was the last to go to the Star Trek convention because of the Saturday Night Live video by Shatner. He did not got start in the Good to Con till season 6 of TNG. Oh, I did not know that. That's a good fact. Like Chris, you are I think one of those person who I always got fascinated by, because you just like so many things that you know. Um, Thank you very much for adding all of this information to all of my videos, and Starfleet boys and everyone else who you gave. We're gonna have you on the show as well. I mean, we've been talking about this a while, but um, yeah, we're gonna organize that pretty soon, because gosh, you're like a living library. All right. J.J. Abrams made a contract with Bad Robot that wanted to ignore what had come before, based on a conspiracy told by Robert Meyer Burnett. Now, you know what? I don't know that Meyer Burnett guy. I know he's supposed to be someone big, but I never really paid attention to him, which is probably a good thing. But hey. All right. So Lower Decks, because I promised I wanted to talk about Lower Decks. So here's the thing. I'm in Scotland, in the UK. And officially, internationally, the show is not available, which is a shambles. In a digital age, when everybody's basically streaming and sharing things. I mean, I know they said that because of the whole shenanigans that they weren't able to negotiate with Netflix or Amazon or whoever. It's I don't think that would have been a big of a problem. That's me personally. Never been I've never been involved with any of these people, but again, it could be the real reason. I don't think that it would have been too difficult to talk to Netflix, who already have more of the all of the Star Trek. Aside from Picard, they have all the Star Trek on their platform, so it would have been just easier to add this one to it as well. But maybe for some legal reasons or for some unknown reasons, but it's not available in the UK and in Scotland, and probably anywhere else aside from the US and Canada. Now, I have managed to watch the first two episodes. Um, yeah, I agree with you, Robbie. It does look a bit shady. Anyhow, so as I mentioned, I managed to watch the first two episodes, and frankly, because of the age we live in, I would be probably able to catch up with all the rest as well. But I decided I'm not gonna go down that road as well. My reviews that I wanted to do for them, I'm going to do for them, and I have a really special format for that I hope people will enjoy when it comes out. Even though half of the globe already seen those episodes, but it's a really interesting show. I remember watching the first episode, and I'm just gonna talk about the first episode briefly, because I think it really did hit home for original series from the Next Generation itself. I mean, Mike McMahon is a big Next Generation fan, and he wrote this out of love pretty much for the era. And even though sometimes I get spoiled with things on Twitter, which again, um, shambles. But yeah. So the show itself it looks really fun, really goofy. I think there's more profanity in there that probably came with Discovery and with this new age of entertainment. which again it shouldn't be bothering me, but it does a little bit. But again, I'm more fond of the way how they spoken in the other shows, like Next Generation and Deep Space Nine, Voyager. They never really had to swear that much. I mean, I think in all 50 something years of Star Trek, they only heard us swear for like once or twice. They've been um, they've been interesting that they didn't really hear too much swearing, rather than be heard it in Discovery and Picard as well. Like that was just too much what the Admiral was saying, at least for my taste. But again, I'm a bit of a weirdo one in this case. So it was really interesting to see that show, and it really felt good to watch it, because it really felt like a TNG, a funny, comedic, neglected starship, um, that more felt like TNG. And even the show itself, like I remember watching the intro, and the intro is basically, I'm pretty sure everyone who watching this stream at the moment um, watch the intro. The intro is hilarious. I mean, I love the fact that the ship goes into different troubles and, like, just get lost in a stream towards the black hole, and just turns around when the Borg invades the Romulans. I thought, like, I had this picture on my head when the Cerritos was emerging from the clouds, and the Borg just hit their shield, and then the Cerritos was like, all right, nope, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna fly away. That was so comedic. Even without saying anything, that was like a whole dialogue there. Like, okay, we're gonna help. They're like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. And they just turn around. That was absolutely fantastic. I mean, the intro itself is fantastic. I really love the fact that they used the old TNG font in there, which is absolutely fun. It's a good callback as well for Next Generation. So the whole show itself, the music, the characters are fun, the animation style is pleasing and it's good. I think in terms of the first episode, there was quite a lot of things happening in the first episode, and the second episode was not as good as the first one. And again, I cannot really talk about too much on the other ones because I haven't seen them. And as I mentioned, I probably will reserve my viewing in terms of once it will be available on the UK. I know there's other forums available, other ways available to watch it, legally or illegally, but I'm not gonna go down that way. I decided I think that's probably the better things to do. I should really switch on the light because it's getting a bit darker here, but well, next time I think about that too. Um, so yeah, this is yes, Danox. Hi there. We are talking lower decks a little bit. Actually, at the moment, I'm talking about lower decks. Yes. Um, so yeah, the first episode, as I mentioned, it was good. I really enjoyed the intro. That was absolutely fantastic. And ooh, hang on a second. I have to react on this because I have no idea why is Mr. Sohail was looking so much forward to the eighth episode. I think we only had 5 episodes going so far. So yeah, there's something gonna happen in the episode 8, which yeah, now I kind of want to watch it, but no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm going to reserve myself to watch Lower Decks when it comes out in internationally. But yeah, it's a shame because I really want to talk about the show as well with other people, and do those reviews that I have planned for the show. But again, when Discovery comes out, I'm probably gonna do something like this, or maybe I'll be joining some other people, maybe Starfleet Boy or Track on the Tube, or maybe someone can join me as well. We have to talk about that and see if anything can be arranged. It would be awesome to do this live stream thingy. I actually quite enjoy this. That's fun, and I never talk this much, which is funny because my work is actually just talking, talking, talking. Um, so yes. Let's see. I went to my first Star Trek convention at H3 when I requested to go because I thought I would go on the Enterprise and see crew. The convention kind of disappointed me at the stage H3 when the ship was not. Oh, bless you. Well, when I went to the big convention in 2016 to watch the show, I mean to to go into the convention, first big Star Trek convention, and I ended up there, and it was just absolutely amazing. Like seeing the bridge of the Enterprise in the main door, having the sound of TNG, having the music of TNG coming out from speakers, and then you walk through this corridor, which basically looked like kind of a star field, was absolutely amazing. And yeah, there was no starships, but the bridge was there, in front of you. It was absolutely amazing. So yeah, as I mentioned, lower decks. It was fun. And the second episode was fun, and I know there's certain cameos already happened and will happen. And recently, I think DS9 was posting about DS9. That's the only problem with Twitter itself and with social media, and I think that was one of the reason why I kind of had to get away from the platform as well, because it was overwhelming to see all of these new things happening, and a lot of people posting, and excitement is good. I cannot cope with excitement too much, especially when it's overwhelming. It happened before, and it was not good. So I think because of Lower Decks was coming out, and all these extra additional things was happening in all this all through Twitter, I just didn't feel that it was the right place for me. And actually, I'm really glad that I took that month off. I realized that I do not miss Twitter at all. In a sense, I miss the people, but not the platform, which is kind of, you cannot really have one without the other. So it's not as, how should I say this? It's not as easy sometimes as you think. I sat down quite a few times in front of the computer, and looking at Twitter, and just spend 15, 20 minutes to actually go through all the feeds, and people who can see the show. And of course, everyone is entitled to put out everything, and it's I should learn more about Twitter to actually remove certain tags like lower decks, and I'm not going to get spoiled with things, which I do in a daily basis these days. But in that 1 month, I didn't think about Lower Decks, Picard, or whatever happening in terms of shenanigans in other platforms. So it was a kind of really interesting experience, and I ended up doing so many other things outside of outside of the internet that I never I always missed. Like, I love gardening, and this is something that we talked about in the podcast with Alice Krieg recently. And finding joy in gardening, finding joy in cooking, and even cleaning. I'm so bad. I'm clean a lot. I clean a lot. Um, and one thing I started doing, and I'm probably gonna do a progression report on this. So I managed to buy this fantastic set of Star Trek models. Now, the specialty of this is that the 1 to 2,500 scale, and is the all seven Enterprises in one box. Now, not sure. I probably have to go and switch on the light. So just bear with me for a second. Don't go anywhere. I'm not going to end this, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to hide this for a little bit, and I'll be here in a second. So just bear with me. There you go. Much better. All right, so this set is absolutely amazing. So I have the seven Enterprises in one go, and it's all in scale. Now, I don't have anything in the box anymore because I built up the Enterprises. So I have the plastic models, which is it's just super amazing. And I started building this baby up in the 1 month, kind of, outside of Twitter and everything. So this is a fantastic model kit that I was able to get for a relatively good price, let's say, because they are quite expensive. And lots of decals, lots of preparation, lots of putting together. But this is a fantastic kit that I put together already. Some of the parts are actually glued, and it's just fantastic. And the same way how it shows in the box, it will be when it will be finished. And I cannot wait to finish all of this. I mean, you have the NX01, the Connie, the refit B, C, D, and E, and I think that's all the Enterprise I need, to be honest. This is a fantastic kit, and they are all in scale. So however they showed in the show and whatever the size they are, they going to reflect the same. I mean, let me just bring closer two of them. Just I'm going to disappear a little bit. If you can see anything from behind me, that's probably just the camping gear that we're going to have soon. So I already assembled the NX01 and I already assembled the Connie as well. Some of the finer detail things are have to be they have to be actually painted and everything, but these are on low scale. So this is awesome. Like this is awesome, and I have the Enterprise in a big scale and Enterprise in a big scale. So these models are actually absolutely fantastic, and they can come with decals. I have to prime them and go through with all different layers of coating and paints and everything. But these actually super amazing, and once they're gonna be finished, hopefully by Christmas, because it's not a cheap thing. These are the sort of look that they're gonna look like, which I'm hoping. So I'm going to take my time with this, and I'm gonna do some progression on this as well, because this is just amazing. This is something that I started, and also I have something else to show, and this is just a prototype model, and I think you probably have seen this. I'm doing some awkward movements in here again, but this is something that you've probably seen in my previous videos. And I know Eagle must announced that they're going to do this as a model for their collection, the Protector. Now I have this from Pegasus Models, and this is something. This is a model that I built up. Who God knows about 13 or 15 years ago. It was a long time ago, and I still have this. But of course, back then I didn't know about anything about modeling, so I literally just snapped them together. They didn't even have any paint on there or anything. I didn't prime them. I did do some painting in here and there, but that's about it. I even didn't finish the bottom part of the paints here, and some of the decals are actually already started deteriorating in there, and some of the pieces are missing. But recently I was able to find a donor model, so I'm going to do it right this time, and I'm probably gonna do progression video, so that will come out sometimes when I finish building it, and I can put it together in the desk and just show it around, because this is a really nice scale. And I know Eagle was gonna put together the official version from their side, so you can just buy it and you don't have to paint and everything. It's probably gonna be a slightly smaller than this one, probably something similar to the XL series that they have, which is a fantastic size. And I think don't really have too much Eagle Moss ships, but probably Voyager will be, and DS9 will be on my list, because I just love those. So yeah, so this is probably these two kits will be reviewed and put together in a form of video in the future. So slowly I'm getting back to myself that I used to. So it is good. It is good. It took a while, but this all comes down to the living situation, and of course work as well, because I do have taken a job before the whole pandemic, and I'm working from home ever since September, so it's not new to me. And I'm privileged and lucky enough that I was still able to work through this difficult time. And the negative part of it is, even though it's not the best job of the world, but it pays the bills, and especially in this time is really important to have that stability, which I'm feeling so sorry for people who lost their job because of this stupid virus. But anyhow, so because of that, I didn't really have too much of sitting in front of the computer 8-10 hours a day. The last thing I wanted to see at the end of the day is the computer, because let's face it, when you're talking to people on the computer, you just want to get away from it, because it can be quite daunting and horrible at times. So yeah, it's not a nice environment, but it pays the bills, and I like working there because the company is actually fantastic, and it's a really humanitarian company. They care a lot about things as well. um, but yeah, it's good. It's good that I was able Don't put the ducky. Put down the ducky. What's the ducky? This is it, the ducky? This is what you're talking Okay, so yeah, so that's mainly the reason why I had to kind of take a break from making videos and everything, and I think the podcast was a really nice transition as well. And now that I can try to do these live streams, actually, I'm really excited about that as well. So I yeah, so it's a really nice way to do this and connect you with all guys, and I can give some progression reports on these little babies as well. Once they are getting finished, I'm gonna probably do a podcast, maybe a podcast or maybe a live stream, and I have something else as well for live stream ideas in the future. So I hope you will stay tuned for that as well. So yeah, so kind of going into the future of the things, this will be um, a bit of bi-weekly, as I mentioned in the beginning, and in my test stream as well. And I'm probably I promise I'm not gonna repeat myself too much. I tend to repeat myself too much, so I'm going to do this ideally either 2 weeks, every 2 weeks or so. And again, topics are welcome, but I'm probably gonna do some more um, topic. I have a set of ideas what I want to talk about in these chats, and of course, I really want to engage with you guys in the live chat as well. I can see a really lively live chat, which I'm so happy about, because I never thought that people are going to tune in and they getting together. That's already like a big achievement for me. So thank you very much for all of you to joining in. So yeah, bi-weekly, and the podcast episodes are going to be weekly. I think, as I mentioned, this week and the following week probably going to be a bit of a hiatus, but yeah, it will come back strong. Well, continue strong as it did before. I really just quickly reacting on this. Chris, definitely, I will make a video on the ships as well, and yeah, this is something that I never wanted to address in my channel, because I'm not a model builder. I mean, there's so many fantastic people out there who do models, and they do so much better than myself. I mean, I see people putting models together, saying that it's a snap together kit, and it's the most horrible kit, but it's not. I mean, you either show up and you want to do something, or you either put in the effort in it and just take your time and not just to snap it together. Again, if you really want to build up something, I think these models are absolutely fantastic. I mean, doesn't really take too much to put together. Get a little bit of a primer, put a primer in there, and I actually glued some parts together. There's a really good, for this particular model kit, there's a really good video on YouTube from Model Chili Modelers, or something like that, or Model Chili. So he did this. I think he had 135,000 views so far on his video, and probably it's growing, because it's like an hour long, and I watched it many times for this particular kit. Um, yeah, so this is definitely something I encourage people to try, because model making is not just buy the Eagle Moss models, which are fantastic. Don't get me wrong, and I know Damien left already, but he could talk a lot about window alignment. Now, in this case, you don't get the heavier die-cast material. You get something already done, and you just like put it on the shelf and done. But with these ones, you really take your time with them and put the painting, put the details down, and you can really make it your own. I mean, I know Chris reviewed this, the Trek Collector reviewed this set once, and he said that basically, if you want to, you can just do a whole gold coating in it, put it in a certain way, like how you've seen it in the observation lounge in the Enterprise D, and then you can just have them next to each other. In an Enterprise E, actually, they had them behind the glass wall, all of the Enterprises in scale. So you can do the same thing with these, which I'm thinking, actually, once I finish these, I might gonna buy another extra set down in the future, and build these models up and just coat them with a gold, which would be a really nice display piece as well, just to have the Enterprises all together um, in in gold. So just like in the Enterprise E, they had them. So that would be actually amazing. But nevertheless, I think building models are always fun, and I used to do them. I my very first one was doing a Rebel Voyager kit from Rebel. Yeah, it was from Rebel. It was a fantastic 1650. I think it still goes about 50 or 60 pound on eBay, and you can still buy it because Rebel still releases them, and they started releasing some new kits as well, which I got really interested about. So these are awesome, and I can't wait to actually start going a bit further. But one thing I can tell you with these ones though, even though the Eagle Moss ones are coming painted and everything, and you just pay like 15 pounds or something, and you get them, you don't have to do anything, just put it on a stand and put it on display. Even though this kit cost about 100 pounds at the moment on eBay or on other model shops, and as I said, I was able to get a bit of a discount on these. Um, so if you wanna get this, you have to buy the primer, you have to buy the paints, you have to buy the microsol, all the equipments to cut out the decals, the sanding and everything. It adds up another 100 pounds. So basically, for for the 7 models, you're probably gonna spend a bit more than you spend with these models that you can just buy from Eagle Moss. But at the end of the day, you build it up yourself, you make it your own, and you look at it in a scale, like you can say like, yes, I've done that. And this is, yeah. Oh, bring it closer to the camera. Sorry, Sohail. There you go. So there she is, the Enterprise. And look at that. The camera actually does shows a little bit. So yeah, there's not finished yet. I mean, the dish is still missing from there. If you can spot the mistake there. I mean, it's not a mistake, but the dish is still missing there. So let me see if I can focus the camera on. Can't I focus? Cannot I can. Anyhow, so yeah, that one is there, and I show you the NX-01 because it's still in my desk, but she's a really beauty. I think this ship, this NX-01, actually the newest addition to this kit, because apparently the previous kits, they didn't come um, with the same um, yeah, with this model. They just came with the basic Enterprises, so there was like 6 ships in one box. So in this case, with the newer kits, you get the NX-01 as well. And you know what? Now that we talk about, I think I'm gonna probably bring some horrible Enterprise B. I'm just holding. Okay, I'm here. I didn't go anywhere, but I can show you all the ships now. So, and I will show you all the ships because what's the fun in that? And I can talk a little bit about them, but then I have a few more things to talk about, and I should really get on with my. All right, so I showed you the NX-01. There you go. I'm gonna be full of models now. So I showed you the NX-01, the smallest on the kit, and then we have the original Enterprise. Again, have not been finished yet because the dish is missing, but that's gonna be the last piece of the puzzle. Then we have the refit, which is basically finished, put together, but again, have to paint it, coat it, and the one downside of this kit, though, this one doesn't come with NCC 1701A registry. It only comes with the um, it only comes with the original refit, the motion picture version or the Wrath of Khan version, which is totally fine. I mean, I'm not getting bothered by this. I mean, it's an Enterprise at the end of the day. And we have the Enterprise B, which is okay. Putting together this model was a bit of a mess, and a bit of pain because the little dots that they had connecting joints here, they didn't line up, so I had to sand them down. And the Motor Chili review said that there's like too much panelized. I'm not sure if you will be able to see it, but there's too much panel details here. So all of those details I'm still looking to send down and just get to actually have the decals set a bit better. But this is actually, I think, I'm afraid this will be the most horrible ship to put together. Not to say that I don't like this ship, I do, but this will be probably the most trickiest one. And even though Chris, the Trek collector, said that this is probably going to be one of the one of the most difficult one. I think this actually because of the decals as well, because the decals actually for this ship, they are really big, and they come on, and the camera doesn't do any good justice, but this is actually a horrible color. It's almost like a neon gray. um, yeah, so this is, and as I mentioned, they are all they all scaled up, so these are next to each other. This is how they are line up next to each other, and I can put the B next to the let's put next to the this is the C, sorry. I can put the C next to the A, and you can see the size difference, and they are basically top of each other. So this is awesome. This is an awesome kit. I'm really happy that I managed to get this, and I'm going to show you the other two, and I'm gonna finish with the models. There's just too much models. Ta-ta-da! There you go. Hey, German Trekkie, and we have a new Captain Kenny. Hi there, Captain Kenny. I don't think we met, but hi there, and hello there as well, German Trekkie. So this is the everyone's favorite ship, and I know Sohail, if you're still here, Enterprise D, Captain Picard ship. This is also almost finished. I think I have to um, glue together a few parts, but this is actually gonna be a bit interesting. I mean, the molds, how they put these ships together, like not sure if you can see because of the camera. It doesn't really focus on fine details here, but the sprues when you cut them out, they deliberately leave some marks around it, so it's a bit um, it's a bit hard to put together. But this is a beautiful ship, and again, just for comparisons, the Enterprise D, and you have the Enterprise, the original. So like that ginormous difference between the two ship. I mean, literally, it's the size of a nacelle. It's crazy. It's coconuts. Like how you have a size of a nacelle Enterprise, and you have the ginormous Enterprise D. And then, of course, the final ship in the line, which is the Enterprise E, and that's, I know, Sohail's favorite as well. Now it can be said it's an old girl. Again, these models are not being painted yet with any coating. It's just being assembled, and they're waiting for me for continue with them. The Enterprise E. So this is a beautiful design, and having all of these in scale, just absolutely amazing. So yeah, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to get on with these ships. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'm ever gonna buy the Eagle Moss ones, because these are just absolutely gorgeous. And there you go, I'm breaking it. No, I didn't break. I didn't break anything. That's good. And just to comparisons again for yeah, this is what I said. So the build quality of some of these stands are not really good. So imagine, like now you can see. I mean, I know you can normally compare to this together, but look at that. Like, isn't it fantastic how it started, how it ended? At least in my in my library, even though we know that probably there's gonna be some of other enterprises coming, but the two scale, and even though the ship is smaller, 54 years after, still beautiful, still amazing, and still bigger than anything, even bigger than the ship. As Sulu said once in Sulu said it once in um, not Sulu. What am I saying? It was D4 Skelly. Dr. McCoy said that, oh, such a big ship, and then Scotty said that, yeah, this might be a big ship, but not as big as her captain. So the Enterprise could be a small ship, 54 years after, but it's still a massive ship that that I love, and I cannot wait to get on with these. So a lot of things have I've talked about, and I think I went over my own schedule, which again. This is my first ever live stream, and I have never talked that much an hour. Usually, when I do and I did videos, I sit down front of the camera and I start talking and talking and talking, and it takes about an hour, 2 hours to record that. Sometimes it takes less, but average an hour recording time to put together a video, and then trim it down to 5 minutes. Now this is something that I just talk and react to these tweets. It's fantastic, and having 10, 11 people here, then and again just a blast. So I'm going to wrap this up soon in a few minutes, and I think I'm probably gonna go. So um, we talked about a lot of things. Um, all right. Sohail Starfleet Boy just reminded me. Don't forget to ask people to click on the like button. And there's 10 of us watching, and it's only 5 likes. Well, now it's 6. Thank you. Thank you, everyone who joined in and clicked. So before I go any further, so as I mentioned, this live stream will be bi-weekly. Again, I'm not going to mention it again, but just the sake of it. So this will be bi-weekly. So I think the next one should be coming up. If I will be able to make it, that's gonna be probably on the 20th. I'll probably gonna be doing it at the same time, about an hour. I'm gonna be here talking about Star Trek mainly, and probably I might gonna share some pictures. I'm actually still planning and looking for some other ways to do this live stream, so I can have multiple things on the screen, and with a different layout, which I'm already started designing. But yeah, that will be something that I'm looking into now, and I'm going to make an effort to actually make this a bit better, not just me on the screen, but some other tracky stuff out there. So yeah, this is something will change. I mean, this is just I'm still figuring this out. It's still all new to me, and so yeah, in terms of so that's probably going to be next week, and well, AMA, we didn't really do any AMA today, but again, if anyone will have any question, I'm available on Twitter at Trekkerprise. If you watching me, you probably know that I'm there, and you probably got from here. So again, appreciate everyone and every single one of you who came to the chat. I have wanted to talk about briefly about something. Patreon. Now, I have launched a few Patreon pages in the past, and I never really had too much. Streamlabs OBS is actually something that I'm looking in, and OBS as well. So Patreon. So I have been launching a few times Patreon, and I have not really had too much success. I mean, I know Sohail kept you kept coming back, and I really appreciate your. I really hope that one day I will be able to meet you after all these long years, and just give you a big hug for all your support and your friendship. But you've been always keep coming back, and I never been a really good person to ask for all of these things, but it is out there. So it's a Patreon page. It has been created. I think you can reach it from the YouTube page, from my YouTube page, and of course, if you go to my website, it's trekkerprise.com. You can click on the link there. And I only set up one tier, so there's no multiple tiers, just one simple tier. It's $5 if you're in the US, or 5.40 if you're in the UK, pounds, because of the conversion. But yeah, it's $5, and with that you will get, of course, my everlasting gratitude. I will always give an early access to the podcast. At the moment, I'm planning to do it one day before, but if I will be able to do it, I will do it 2 days before. So a podcast usually will coming out on. In the past, it came out every Wednesday, aside from the last one. But it came out every Wednesday, so either Tuesday or Monday, you will get an early access to the podcast. You will also get a Patreon only live stream, which probably going to be something similar, but just with Patreons, and we can even do a collaboration, a Skype call, so we can do like a big group call. That is an option as well. And also something exciting that I'm planning, and it's currently on development. Something in the mail as well from me. That's something that I really want to. As a graphic designer myself, I love putting my hands into different publications and stuff. So I'm currently working on something really special that basically will be a bit of a complimentary thing for Trekkerprise, and obviously Patreons only. And hopefully that will be something valuable and nice, and I will talk about that when the time comes. But yeah, there's something in the mail. I try to make it at least 2 or 3 every 2 or 3 months. In the future, so that is something that I'm planning as well. So keep an eye on that. I try to really give something back for the support, for the kind support. So again, patreon.com/Trekkerprise, or you can just go to my webpage, trekkerprise.com, and reach it from there. Or if you want, you can just go to my YouTube page, and there's a Patreon icon already, which you can go and support the channel. It really helps a lot for me to, pay for the hosting for the website, because and that costs money as well, and for other things in the future. Like, I'm not gonna go on holiday from this money, but if you ever wanted to support the channel, you will be able to do that, because there's an option for it. If you don't want to go down that way, that's totally fine as well. But I also wanted to share a bit of a news. I mean, probably some of you already know, I have launched my graphic design business a while ago. That's rocktigerdesign.com. So there's a website, and there's some of my works, and also there's a few things that I try to promote and do there. It's mainly graphic design. If any one of you ever need any graphic design, I can be reached in there as well. Um, Something that I miss working graphic design, to be honest with you. So yeah, if anyone interested in graphic design work for any reason, I'm available in a freelance basis, so I can be reached at rocktigerdesign.com. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you again very much for everyone who joined in. Special shout out for all of you, really. I German Trekkie, Chris Collins, Starfleet Sohail, German Trekkie, and Robbie, like, from being here from the very very beginning of the show. Irish Trekkie made a cameo as well, which I'm again really really happy about. Danox, I'm not sure, I don't remember interacting too much, but thank you very much for joining in as well. And Fathery, I'm not sure if you're still here, but thank you very much again for coming and saying hi, and everyone else who said hi, who I missed. Oh, Braxton, of course. How can I forget Braxton? Which, if you didn't see the episode on his podcast, please check out the Warm Blanket podcast with Braxton. We had a really nice chat, and of course Rob Chapman as well, who was here. I'm not sure if you're still here, but yeah. Okay, one last thing. How do the sorcerer sizes and length of the Galaxy class compare to the Sovereign class ship? Actually, I can show that to you if you're still here, Chris. Um, and I'll try to not drop this time, because they are really droppable. So the two ship, actually, I have to bring it back quite a lot, but these are basically next to each other. So definitely the E's nacelle is much longer, but generally speaking, the E is a smaller ship. It looks like a smaller ship compared to the Galaxy. So the D. So it's a noticeable difference. So okay. So again, I should probably be going. Thank you very much for everyone to joining in. Don't forget to like, share the word around, and if you want to get in touch with me, you can get in touch with me on Twitter. I'm available at Trekkerprise. You can also reach out to me by email. That's trekkerprise@gmail.com. I don't really receive too much emails, but again, it's always nice to have some correspondence there as well. And also, if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon page. You can do that. So it's really cheap. Well, again, it's not mandatory, and I'm not going to ask for anyone to money, but of course it's nice to put it out there. As many people already pointed out, I should have done it years ago, but again, I'm not the kind of person who asks for money, so there you go. So I'm available there as well. And Warm Blanket podcast, there's quite a few episodes, and recently with the that I done with Adjusted Gender, received so many good feedbacks, and all the other podcast episodes are available. Please go back and listen to them. I've generally had a really good fun creating that podcast, and I cannot wait for more. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And until next time, live long and prosper.